James Patterson wrote a kid's book?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the Fun Show here at Big TV. We're trying to brighten people's time because I know we're all relatively depressed about the impending doom of the United States. This is the December 12th edition of the Fun Show. We have one more week left for the Electoral College to rescue us.
Yes.
One more week. They vote a week from today. One of the promising things is they have requested formally, or 10 members of the Electoral College have formally requested a briefing from the national security agencies on Russian interference in the election, which is a good sign.
I think it's a great sign. I wish the president had started up on this.
However, on the same topic, DJ Trump, or Reichschancellor Trump,
Yeah.
has begun to pay his friend Vladimir Putin back by looking like he's going to appoint a personal friend of Putin to be Secretary of State of the United States. Now, I cannot believe that if anybody in Congress ratifies that appointment, they should immediately be removed from Congress. This is like it was 1936 and you nominated a Secretary of State who claimed to be a personal friend of Adolf Hitler. I mean, nothing has ever been quite as ridiculous as that. So it's one more week for them to come to their senses and save us. Meanwhile, winter seems to have appeared.
For a while.
Come on the spot. Well, it's going to come back tonight, I'm told. And tomorrow it's going to be cold.
Well, I had a friend call me from Florida to complain about the weather. That it was cloudy and drizzly, only 71 degrees. And
only 71 degrees?
And then he said, oops, I'm sorry.
I like to throw people like that, not in the pool, but in a bathtub or something, of cold ice water.
At 71 degrees in Nicaragua, they run and put their sweaters on, so they said.
And a scarf.
So this is, we have a little more time. One of the things that I'd like to point out to people, I'm tired of talking over it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm turning it down. I'm turning it down and stopping.
Okay. Till later.
This is the only time I get to practice.
Yeah, I know. We can tell.
That's funny.
On the
But gruesome.
festive Kira keyboard, yes.
Yeah.
We miss you, Kira, but we hope you're doing well.
I hope you're successful and giving the professors a hard time.
Giving the professors a hard time.
Yeah.
We're coming towards the end of the year, and shortly after the end of the year, a couple of weeks, we're going to come to the end of a rational presidential administration in the country. Now, it is my proposition that any American who pays taxes to DJ Trump is a fool and an idiot. Here's a man who claims to be filthy rich. We, of course, don't know whether he's filthy rich because we've never seen his taxes.
No, he's 50% right.
Well, he acts like it.
Yes, right, thank you.
And his kids say he's rich. Yeah.
But he claims he's filthy rich, and he brags about the fact that he never pays any taxes.
Right.
So anybody who pays taxes to him is a fool. Now, if you don't quite have the nerve, if you realize that you're not going to have the nerve to withhold your taxes from the Reichsstaat, I propose to you that you pay your taxes or make a significant payment on your taxes before DJ Trump takes the oath of office. So the books will show a big drop in tax revenue under Trump. That's just one of the many things that we can do and should do to oppose the end of the United States of America. In any case, that's the thing. It's a novel thought. Nobody wants to pay their taxes. before they have to. But if you pay them before January 20th, you will be making a statement.
Well, that's a statement, and maybe we're going to be selling all the state and national forests and parks. There's a lot of things that you could build all kinds of hotels and
He'll probably give them away to corporations.
Yeah.
true. And
He
they-
probably won't sell them. He'll say, you know, here, Sheraton Corporation, you can have Yellowstone and build a theme park.
okay,
You know,
okay, that sounds about right.
well, you wouldn't want you. Wouldn't
No, I
want
was
the-
go- I
You
was
wouldn't
go-
want the American people to get any benefit out of
No,
it. You
no.
know.
I was go-
Incidentally, we should pause at this point and
Oh yeah,
and say goodbye to John Glenn, a wonderful American, one of our great heroes, and
Made history twice.
made history twice. 72 years old. I think.
77.
Was it
He was
77?
77.
77, the last time he went into space to prove that old folks could
He says old
conceivably
folks
do it.
still want to do things, he said.
And a long career as a United States Senator. And I would be remiss in pointing out that this American hero was a Democratic senator.
right.
You know?
Thank you.
So,
Let me ask. Okay.
yeah.
This would be a good question for John. Glenn. He would like this question. A man named Trump, who aspires to be the president. I guess he's president. He could be president-elect.
or does he?
True. Yeah. He could give it up.
Michael Moore says he doesn't.
Now, he's appointed all these generals, and my question is, there's no admirals on the cabinet.
Well, as I said to you before, Army beat Navy for the first time in 50 years.
Did they? I didn't see the rest of the game. So,
Yeah,
okay.
they beat him. They held on. They
Wow.
beat him for the first time in 15
But
years.
he ought to have an admiral in a symbol for a gesture.
What's the last admiral we remember? Probably there were
Mike.
some we don't remember. Brett Scowcroft?
No, there was another admiral who was it was the head of the Joint Chiefs, Mike Murphy or something. I think his name was.
Yeah.
Very good man. By the way.
His nickname wasn't Mad Dog, I assume.
No, oh no.
My question is, how many admirals or generals do you have in a government before it becomes a junta? You know.
Well, maybe he's expecting that, and he's accelerating the movement. I don't know.
The other thing is that the only thing in this government is generals and billionaires.
Billionaires, okay.
And that's it. There's
Well-
nothing else.
well,
And some of them so clearly bought their way in. Now, it's not unusual to buy your way into ambassadorships. I mean, that's an old tradition. right?
yeah, I
Big
thought he would.
contributor ends
I
up
thought he would do more
in
of
England
that.
or something. Well, he hasn't gotten around to that yet.
No.
Except that his first wife wants to be the ambassador to Czechoslovakia or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
That's a good idea.
nobody on earth can explain why Linda McMahon is being appointed to a cabinet post. Linda McMahon's only real claim to fame is being married to Vince McMahon, who was the head of the World Wrestling
I was going to say
Federation.
something. Yeah.
Yes.
And
She made a lot of money.
So you wonder, well, yeah, she's got a lot of money, so that puts her on the candidate list. But it's not really so hard to figure out why she was selected for a job that she's absolutely unqualified for, which, of course, is his usual thing.
Well, what about Trump?
Yeah, right.
He's unqualified.
He wants everybody in his cabinet to,
To be unqualified.
She contributed $6.5 million to his campaign.
There you go.
And wasn't he the one running around complaining about pay for play?
Always. Let me bring up to you.
I mean, if this guy has not embarrassed the Electoral College yet, then I'm going to change my lifelong devotion to the Electoral College and join
Okay.
the Eliminate the Electoral College
Yes.
group.
Governor Baker isn't saying much about all this that we're
No,
talking about.
Governor Baker is not.
He's not.
And he's one of the limited number of Republicans who haven't turned tail
No.
and kissed DJ's
No,
Yeah.
no. Okay. All right.
Now, I have to give credit, in spite of myself, to one particular family that has not lowered their standards, hasn't pulled a Willard Romney and gone to kiss the ring, And believe it or not, that's the Bushes.
That's true.
The Bushes. And another candidate for American hero, John McCain,
He's
who
stronger and stronger.
hasn't kissed the ring. John McCain, however, will probably never overcome putting up Sarah Palin for vice president of the United States.
Well,
You know, that was a reputation
Yeah.
destroying move.
she could raise a lot of money, though.
Well, I'm
maybe-
not sure she did even that. I
don't
don't think
think
she
she-
actually did anything ever.
No, but she didn't. But she shot gray wolves from a helicopter. I remember seeing that. It was a
All right.
little thing on National
this
Geographic.
this has become a qualification now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shooting natural wildlife
Yeah.
from a
What
helicopter.
else? Well, she's got all those kids too. All these casinos that we're building, they are building here in Massachusetts, and they're moving forward in Everett and Springfield. But
I haven't seen much evidence of it though.
I know, but he never. Well, I see pictures of all these cranes.
Okay.
That's it.
I saw cranes in Berlin for years and nothing was being
Yeah.
built.
Oh, you
No,
mean
it's
that-
true.
Are
No,
you talking
Berlin
about
fell on
the
hard times.
chimney cranes?
No. They ran out of money so rapidly they didn't have the money to take the cranes
cranes
down.
down.
Oh,
And
that
the
was-
skyline of Berlin for like a decade was loaded with all these cranes, and from a distance you thought there was a lot of building going on, and in fact none of them were actually working.
Oh, wow.
You know?
All right.
They were like these half-constructed buildings just sitting there.
But also, have you been to the libraries in Berlin or anything like that? Have you gone to
Libraries and museums, yes,
that? Yeah. What do you think? Good?
they're great.
All right.
They're great. I mean, Berlin's a great place to crawl through libraries. They have libraries for everything you could possibly want.
There's a
You
man-
can go see Nefertiti, and you can go see odd modern art that you wonder how in the world it got there.
Wow.
I had
At the,
I
in
have
the
a-
libraries?
No, in the museums and
okay.
stuff. But
Yeah.
there was one picture in the museum there, in the Modern Art Museum, one of the Modern Art Museums in Berlin. There must be 25 museums. And I really couldn't figure it out. It was a big white canvas, just gessoed. Like canvases come before you paint on them, right? Slashed down the middle. That was it. And it was
Terrific.
hanging on the wall like a piece of art.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you should say that because there's a play by Yasmina Reza. She's a French playwright
Yes.
entitled Art,
And pretty good.
and it's this man who's brought this piece of artwork, and he's brought his friends over to see it, and all it looks like is a canvas that's been gessoed, but it does have a little stippling of white through it, and he thinks it's the greatest thing. He got it for a steal. He only paid $25,000 for it, and his friends are
think he's
"What
crazy."
is wrong with you? And there's this whole argument about
Right.
We saw that, Rini and I saw that in London. We saw
It was
that play.
it was a canvas that some painter had stored under his bench, and it got
damage.
paint
Well, they had
dribbled on it or
three
something.
I can't remember their names, three very fine British
I know
actors.
Stacy Keach did it. If not on Broadway, he did it. He traveled with it.
One of the things that gets me in trouble is my opinion that Jackson Pollock was not an artist.
Oh.
Well, he could spatter paint, you mean.
Jackson Pollock, as I understand it, always worked on very big canvases.
Right.
Threw paint at it for days
Had them
after
on the
days.
floor.
Yeah.
And then he'd cut a
Yeah.
small piece out of the canvas.
And sell
And
it.
that was his work of art.
Oh, I thought he just did. Okay.
He-
And
realize
that.
so
Sometimes
in
sold a
my
big-
mind, that makes him a critic, not an artist.
Okay.
In other words, he could look at this big canvas covered with paint
Yes.
and pick out something appealing in it
Yeah.
and cut it out, Sort of the way our mentor and leader, Michael Sallin here,
That's right. That's right.
clips our newspaper clippings every
Yeah.
week.
Thank you.
By the way, I'm Arch O'Reilly, and sitting
Oh.
between us is Susan Harrington. I got halfway through the program and finally remembered to introduce the people up here.
Well, you introduced me. You told everybody that
but-
my name is Bo Hummel or something. You didn't
I
do
said
it?
what?
Bo Brummel. Did you say
Oh,
that?
Bo Drummel. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Um,
What about the Indians who wanted that casino down outside of Boston?
wherever it is, New Bedford, Brockton, where? The South Shore one?
Attleboro, is it?
I don't know, somewhere on the South Shore.
Yeah, it's over there, and they.
Well, they started construction a long time ago, didn't they?
But they had to stop because this judge said that the land that they had an option to buy, 125 acres in this town, was not a reservation. I don't know. Anyways, now the head of the Indian group.
What
down
are you
there-
talking, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or
yeah.
what?
Yeah, very good. He says it wasn't fair, and so they have to go back and go over this whole trial again, and maybe they'll do something. I hope
Well,
so.
I was always betting that they would actually open the first casino.
I hope. Oh, I know you. You
You
said
know.
years
It's
ago.
interesting you should state it that way.
Why?
I was always betting.
Yes. No, I'm sorry, that was intentional.
Oh, okay.
That they would open the first casino and things. Talking about construction projects, here you cut out of the Boston Sunday Globe
Yes.
this picture. I don't know how our Zoom people will come, but
No.
maybe everybody's seen it. But this is the huge building
21.
that somebody wants to build under 40B in Coolidge Corner. You couldn't have sat down and designed something less appropriate for Brookline or for Coolidge Corner
It's so oddly.
than this. I mean, it's really, really awful.
Be
A
able to-
21-story apartment building. I mean, just
Well,
And here's the thing: it's you don't have enough space.
a hotel too. It's supposed to be also.
it's a different project.
Yeah.
You don't have enough school space for children now.
Right.
So this is going to bring more people in.
Right. This would be in the Devotion District. We're just in the process of making like a 60% increase in the Devotion School, and this would totally overwhelm
yeah.
it. And if you don't think that every single person who moved in here, if it was built, would be parents of school-aged children, you're happy paying taxes to DJ
Yeah.
Trump because you're
Well,
an
the thing
idiot.
of it is even if you get people who would, let's say, move from smaller residences or less expensive ones there, then the other people would come in and scoop up what was.
See, but
Right.
we have to do things that they've done in other parts of the country. 12 school has to be 12 months a year, and you can have two sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. There are things that can be done if that's what they want. Okay, then let's be flexible about all this. And if it means buying a school that
When
is
you-
surplus in Boston on the borderline,
You
let's
keep
buy it.
harping
I
on
know.
that. You keep harping on that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Michael Sallin, that
never-
will
never
never happen. Never
You
happen.
keep saying that. All right, here's the time.
Unless they want to cede part of West Roxbury to Brookline or something.
Hey,
Maybe.
What they're
not going to
gonna do.
happen.
Oh, Chelsea.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the big TV Unrehearsed Thespian Society's presentation for this evening, which comes to us from the upper reaches of the vault from a gentler era only a decade ago, before the demise of the United States, and it is entitled Laundering.
Today's my laundry day.
You mean soiled socks and underwear?
How clever. We know where you're going.
It used to mean washing.
But it's different now.
I like my shirts starched,
Isn't that formal?
And uncomfortable.
but everything's washed.
And the meaning's changed.
What's in a name?
A laundromat does dirty clothes.
And money.
You put dirty money in the washer.
And out comes clean money, right?
After the dryer, it's hot money.
Oh. Then it's funneled to a charitable organization.
Like Citizens for a Moral America.
Or voters for tax reform.
Action against legalized lotteries.
Illegals for competition.
Then lightning strikes.
So the president lost the port deal.
But the Indian casinos are okay, I used to think.
You'd have to ask Jack Aberdoff.
He's just a lobbyist.
He didn't run a laundry. a delicatessen, I think. Huh?
Why pick on him?
Actually, he used his restaurants for nefarious purposes.
Yeah, he big sandwiches. But he says he's guilty.
Probably owes taxes.
Gambling that money from the tribal clients.
Needed to be cleaned up first.
Not ethical to pass it around.
Since when did we get so righteous?
Depends on who does it.
And who spends it.
And for what? We're not sure.
Nothing new there.
Look at Stone and Webster.
Hey, that's a great old company.
They build quality everywhere.
Even the MIT campus.
Then, unfortunately, came the Indonesia project.
Well designed and priced.
Proposed kickback fell through.
Well, could that be laundered somehow?
Legal said no.
And the CEO agreed.
The accountants were very busy fine-tuning.
Bankruptcy followed.
Stock collapsed.
And workers lost jobs and pensions.
CEO got millions for severance
And
pay.
now, he's an energy consultant on the Cape.
Irony, the entire complex was built in China.
The best laid plans.
Everybody meant well.
Failures followed.
It was only business.
What went wrong?
Too greedy.
No, just a case of apples and oranges.
Why is it always about the word more?
Well, I got mine,
It's never enough.
China is socialist.
and the peasants complained to red bureaucrats.
How to explain the capitalist boom?
About all the urban jobs and the skyscrapers.
Is it corruption? Chinese laundering?
Give them some land.
Casinos will follow.
I bought a book, Making Money Fast by DJ Trump.
Using a copy machine.
Yep.
That's not bad.
That's criminal.
Our foreign debt with China and India.
Low-paid workers, sweatshops.
We outsourced factories and jobs.
But it's very profitable.
We can still assemble computers with the parts,
And sell software.
And service our appliances.
but schedule repairs in Bombay by phone.
This is where globalization leads, my friends.
Yeah, climate change.
Interested in a nice iceberg?
Used to know a Sam iceberg.
Sorry, maybe Max Iceberg.
Special sale, going out of business.
Melting glaciers while they last.
Hurry, they're disappearing.
No laundering required.
No credit or exchanges allowed.
All sales final.
Except for billionaires and Canadian oil sand crowd.
Well, they're getting the pipeline with Obama's veto.
But all those jobs lost?
Actually, lawyers and lobbyists will still be busy.
And the presidential candidate from Texas will get more donations.
He and his Tea Party pals will use it to beat up on our president.
The new Speaker, Ryan, those lost jobs for Americans.
Well, there's Dr. Carson. It's a victory. He's a victory for the Democratic Socialists.
But with oil prices falling, our big oil companies won't cry.
Big oil don't cry. They don't cry.
Okay, there's another
Anyways,
great
so there we go. Another
piece of
great thing.
theater by our company, the
Susan,
Thespians.
do you watch much television?
Yeah.
Have you seen these ads that are being run? They're very sappy. They don't really push a product there. This is the time for family and good feelings.
And
they're
violin music.
They're run by Ernie Bach Jr.
Oh, yeah.
They have no message. They're just sort of feel good.
Yeah.
Do you think he's running those to try to get people to forget that he was the first person to bring Trump to Massachusetts?
No, unfortunately, because he ran that crap before.
Yeah.
Excuse
but
my language.
They're pointless.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be feel good, and they are the most hypocritical thing ever to appear on television.
But he ran similar ones last year and the year before
Yeah.
that.
So he's been a hypocrite
Yeah.
for a long
But
time,
he
right?
doesn't romanticize
But you know,
cars.
but he doesn't
know,
he doesn't own any of those. He owns like one or two of those now. Most of those things have been sold, and he's just a fake.
His name is
Yes.
just on it.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Funny. Doesn't that remind you of someone?
yeah, it
His
does.
hero,
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful thing. A group of architects have filed for a permit in Chicago to construct 4 golden pigs that fly like 30 feet in the air or 40 feet in the air, tethered to the ground as an art installation.
Good.
But they're located and designed to obscure the Trump on the side of the Trump Tower in
That's
Chicago.
good. Yeah, that's good.
I'd donate to that.
And since Illinois is a faithful blue state, I'm hoping to find that they get that approved. Yeah.
Can a newsboy be hawking papers in front of that tower building? Would they stop?
You
the
mean
kid?
in New York now?
Yeah.
No, the Secret Service wouldn't let them anywhere near it.
That's true. They could have bad things with that.
Did you hear that Donald Trump's inaugural committee suggested that the inauguration should start with a parade down Fifth Avenue?
That's a good idea. I like that with balloons.
Sorry, fella.
Like,
The presidency's in Washington, D.C.
wait a minute. Macy's has a nice parade. They could add him to it.
Well, some late night person said, we've had enough overblown cartoons sailing down Fifth Avenue. But here's the question. First of all, New York has nothing to do with the inauguration any more than Des Moines has.
And neither does Donald Trump.
And 97% of the voters in Manhattan voted against Donald Trump. Why in the world would they even suggest this?
But he's up now to 51% for likability. But you're supposed to say to me, where'd you get those numbers?
Yeah, where'd
And
you get
I say,
those
I
numbers?
made them up like everybody else.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
Just,
no problem.
I mean, there was that kid who got rich and very proudly says he was being interviewed. He got rich writing fake news in the campaign.
Yeah.
Online, right?
Yeah.
And so he was being interviewed, and the people put up one of his stories and said to him, read some of it and said to him, was any of this true? And he went, no, not a word.
He got well paid, too.
Not a word.
Are we going to have some kind of a protest march to save Affordable Care Act? What about that? You think that's worth doing for the 20 million people that have it or something?
I'm hard put to know what these marches would influence any of these evil
okay.
people. I mean, they're evil.
Well, a parade.
They're
Could be
evil.
A parade with music.
Better we gather all those people, hand out the guns, and build the bunkers.
Oh, it's coming. Oh,
I think it's
coming
time
that.
I think it's time to play to our dear friend Irene.
Okay, she's not feeling well.
Irene, feel
not
better soon.
Yeah, but well, that's true. We have two other members here of this thespians group that don't feel well. You and
Oh, I feel
Susan.
fine now.
Oh,
I had a bad day yesterday. And Susan's going to have a better day in a month.
Yes.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody, from the Fun Show here at Big TV. We will be back next week, same time, same station.
You think
Remember, be judicious about your holiday shopping.
I'm gonna-
This year, Christmas and Hanukkah coincide exactly, so everybody gets to celebrate together.
Get 9 gifts.
Huh?
Get 9 gifts.
Get 9 gifts.
Get 9 gifts.
That'd be good. A little extra for everybody.
Yeah. Play the dreidel song.
I made it out of clay. Dreidel, dreidel.